Unseen growth doesn't get balloons or applause. Nobody's clapping when you finally stop people pleasing or when you build a habit that makes your morning routines just a couple minutes easier. But what if we celebrated that too? My birthday is here, and instead of just cake and candles, I want to reflect on the growth you can't post on Instagram, the kind that quietly shifts everything. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Taking Up Space with Jordan. I'm your host, Jordan, and I started this podcast to inspire women to go after their dreams, even when it's hard, even when it feels impossible. We all tell ourselves little stories to keep going, but I think the most important one is this: you are growing, even if no one notices. Over the past few months, I've caught myself saying to friends, "Nope, nothing new for me, no new job, no new house, no new shiny milestone." But what I do have is so much better. I have boundaries, self trust, and confidence. And that's the kind of growth I want us to honor today. As I reflect on my first year of my 30s, I want you to think about your own unseen growth. What's the thing no one else may have noticed, but that's changed you for the better? I want you to share it with me, tag me, or just whisper it to yourself in gratitude. And if you think you haven't grown, let this episode be a moment to inspire you and prove to you that you actually have. In my 20s, I built a life around someone who didn't even see me and honestly didn't care enough to, which is fine. That's their goddamn loss. This year, I decided my life needed to reflect me. So I rebuilt my mornings, coffee whenever I wanted to, throw pillows everywhere, journaling, gratitude, creativity, no more walking on eggshells just so someone else could doom scroll on their phone and then take their lack of emotional understanding out on me. This shift reminded me of something bigger. My self worth and confidence are the foundation of everything else. I don't waste energy on things that drain me, including people. I don't accept invites just to be included. I don't nod along to things I don't believe in. And yes, sometimes that does mean spending more time in solitude. But here's the surprise: solitude is not punishment. It's peace. It's given me space to understand myself better, to fall in love with my own company, and to realize joy doesn't need to be earned. And while therapy gave me too much awareness for my own good, like, can I please put a goddamn grocery cart back without feeling guilty that if I didn't push it all the way in? Anyways, tangent. But therapy has also given me tools to hold that peace more often. Another part of this is when I stopped saying yes to everything, I figured out who was really in my corner. This year, I started cultivating relationships where we celebrate each other without the competition, where it's safe to bring the highs and to bring the lows, to safely be toxic with each other because we understand that we are flawed individuals who sometimes just need a little yap shitting on people session. But I've also learned that community isn't a nice to have. It's honestly survival, especially when you're building a life that doesn't follow the usual script. When you are going at life alone, you have to have your community. You have to put it as a priority because when you need help, you need it. We can't do everything alone. For years, I would wear my hyper independent girl badge like it was a badge of honor. Like, I don't need anybody. That's cute, right? It's cute to not need anybody. No, it's fucking toxic. When you don't let anyone be there for you, you are a bad friend. Your friends want to be there for you. And if you don't give them the chance to be, then you are not allowing them to be deeply a part of your life. And yes, some relationships didn't make it into this decade with me. And bye, Felicia. Honestly, good. Those people were not meant to be along for the ride. And honestly, at this point in my life, I am no longer caravanning anymore. I don't need the dead weight. The last part is my dreams. My 20s were basically one long trip to Hobby Lobby weekend after weekend. I tried everything: crafts, careers, hobbies, side hustles. My maybe this is it drawer could have been a goddamn storage unit. But when I started podcasting, something clicked for me. For the first time, it wasn't about keeping myself busy. It was about feeling aligned. And that alignment didn't feel like fireworks or dramatic movie moments. It was quieter. It was me sitting in front of my mic, realizing that I'd rather be here than anywhere else. It was the first time I published an episode and someone DM'd me saying, "This made me feel less alone." That's when I knew this wasn't just a hobby. This was genuinely my purpose in life. That clarity has taught me that alignment matters more than achievement. I journal every morning about the next small step that I can take because progress doesn't have to be flashy to count. Sometimes the quiet steps are the most powerful ones. I've also learned that pivoting is not failure. It's strategy. The dream can change, shape, and sometimes the shift is what keeps you moving forward. Every failed path has taught me I didn't want, which brought me closer and closer to what I did. And the biggest surprise of all has been that you gotta rest. Rest is part of ambition. My soft hustle is still hustle, just without the burnout. Rest and joy aren't detours, they're fuel. And if you're listening to this and thinking, I don't know what my dream is, that's also okay. Sometimes the dream doesn't show up as a lightning bolt. Sometimes it's a whisper that gets louder and louder the more you trust yourself. I've had people ask me before, like, I don't know how to discover my dream. And you know what? That's okay. A lot of the times for a lot of us, it could be simply our dream is finding our soul dog. Our dream is getting to finally see the enchantments here in the Pacific Northwest. Our dream is to summit Mount Rainier. Our dream is to have a partner that loves us in all the most perfect of ways. It's okay if your dream is not this big, grandiose thing. I think people need to understand that if it's your dream, that's what matters. That's alignment. Don't go seeking somebody else's dream because you will not find purpose. You will not find joy and you will not find happiness in that. You'll find maybe pieces of it, nuggets of that, but you're not going to find what matters most to you unless you go out there and just try. And so I think the biggest lesson of my first year of my 30s is 30 is not this tragic death sentence that society loves to sell. It was the doorway, honestly, to alignment, not to sound super guru but it was. Building a life that finally feels like mine has been this past year. The lows, they stung harder. I'm not going to lie. But thanks to therapy, I know exactly why. The highs, they've been higher. They've been clearer and they're mine more than ever, which matters so much more to me than anything else. And if the year of my 30s looked like this, and if year one of my 30s has looked like this, I can only imagine what 31 is going to bring. But I think it's really important to be very transparent. This year hasn't been perfect. I didn't float through on some magical 30-year-old wisdom cloud. No, there was still friction, and mine definitely showed up with its fair share of hard days. The lessons I've learned, they came with some real bullshit that in the moment felt impossible to understand. I've had nights full of self-doubt and exhaustion, lying awake asking myself, am I actually on the right path? Am I even going anywhere with this? And honestly, I think that's normal for anyone putting themselves out there in any way. I remember one week in particular where everything felt like it was collapsing. Bills were piling up, work was chaotic, and I was convinced I was about to get fired. I hadn't found time to work out or cook. My skin was breaking out. My jeans were too tight. And halfway through the week, I just sat in my car and cried. And then when I got out of my car, I spilled Diet Coke all over myself. I was so overstimulated and overwhelmed that I told my bestie, I was just like, I need a break in the clouds. I just need one sign that I am supposed to keep going because I am at my wit's end. And here's the thing, the tragedy of all of this, that sign never came. Not from the outside, at least. After a couple days, I sat with myself once things had calmed down and I asked why this week had hit me so hard, why the whole month felt like a bowling ball on my throat. And the truth was, it wasn't because I was doing anything wrong. It wasn't punishment. I didn't need the character development. Thank you very much. But there was so much just outside of my control. The bills, the deadlines, the stressors, are always going to exist. What made it heavier was this underlying limiting belief that I didn't realize that I was still carrying, that bad things are inevitable and they're going to happen only to me, that the other shoe has to drop. So when good things are happening, you are bound to have a bad thing happen to you, and that's what's just how your life is going to be. I thought I'd outgrown that mindset. But life is a funny way of testing you just to see if you're paying attention. And that's why I share the messy parts of my story, because it's not all rainbows and butterflies. And honestly, it shouldn't be. If every day was sunshine, we'd stop noticing it. Adversity isn't something to glamorize, but naming it out loud, it does give us power. It does give us the chance to practice the tools that we've learned in therapy, in life coaching sessions, to reframe, to take in new information, and to choose which stories we want to believe about ourselves. Life doesn't happen in a bubble. Hard things are going to keep showing up, but that doesn't mean that we deserve them. And honestly, that's why reflecting on this birthday feels so important to me, and why I think reflection is always so important to me when it comes to your birthdays. The lessons, the joy, the hard parts, they all belong together. Growth isn't about erasing the struggle, it's about seeing yourself more clearly through it. But you don't have to wait till you are at a milestone like a birthday to validate your progress. You don't need a new job, a title, or relationship, or a set of house keys to prove that you're moving forward in your life. Progress doesn't have to be loud or public to matter. But honestly, that's why I wanted to talk about this today. We don't get to see all the hard work that each of us is individually doing. Not unless we talk about it. Because when we normalize not being perfect and speaking the truth about the quiet stuff, like building routines that work for you, setting boundaries, choosing joy, saying to know what drains you, that's the kind of growth that changes everything. And it deserves to be honored just as much as the highlight reel moments do. So as I blow out the candles on this birthday, or this upcoming birthday week, I want to invite you to celebrate with me. Take a moment to reflect. What's one piece of unseen growth that you experienced this year? Maybe it's learning to rest without guilt. Maybe it's finally asking for help. Maybe it's trusting yourself just a little bit more. Whatever it is, claim it. Write it in your journal, share it with a friend, or tag me on socials. I would love to celebrate alongside you, because at the end of the day, my birthday isn't just about me. It's about all of us quietly, steadily, bravely building lives that reflect who we really are. So let this turn into collective celebration. We're all blowing out the candles together. Thank you for being here with me, for letting me share my reflections, and for walking alongside me through this first year of my 30s. If this episode resonated with you, share your unseen growth. I want to cheer you on. And if you're new here, hit follow so you don't miss any future episodes. So here's to unseen growth, to alignment, and to building lives that actually feel like ours. Cheers to 31 and cheers to you. Cheers.